guys, it's time for my review of Pokemon White for the DS. Now this is the 5th generation of Pokemon games, and with Black and White they've done a lot of things differently. They've reimagined the series. They've tried to hail this as a reinvention of the Pokemon series. So let's kind of get into that. Graphically, if you've played a 4th generation game like Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, or even the remakes of Heart Gold and Soul Silver, this game isn't going to kind of jar you in any way, shape, or form. If you haven't played since the 1st or 2nd gens, then yes, it's going to be quite jarring to see what they've done. For the most part, the graphics are nice, but they've introduced a lot of 3D elements, a lot of 3D models of stuff that just don't fit with a 2D background. And they've even attempted to do these 3D kind of, different perspective and different viewpoints. And I think that that's just not good. It's kind of cool to see, the camera move around and stuff, but I feel like they only did that to be like, hey, look at what we can do. And they don't even care about how pixelated it looks or how bad it looks. It's just all about, hey, look, we're moving in 3D a different direction than up, down, left, right. Nah. So I have to say I don't much care for that. But graphically, it's pretty much the 4th gen, just with more 3D stuff thrown in, and it's really not necessary. So let's talk about the story. So that was the graphics, here's the story. It's more mature, definitely more mature. It focuses on, again, the same type of stuff, gym leaders, Elite Four, defeat Team Blank, which in this case is Team Plasma. And I'm really getting sick of these names, just bring back Team Rocket. But Team Plasma has this sort of Crusader kind of outfit going. It's this really ancient looking, older style, of outfits, and I guess they have this sort of fundamental idealistic viewpoint on the world of Pokemon. And this is where, for the first time, the antagonists aren't bad for the sake of just being the enemy and being the villain. They're actually just viewing the world in a different way, the different side of a coin. We're just the two halves here, and they're the side, we're this side. They think that Pokemon are enslaved by trainers, and they want to set Pokemon free. They want to convince people to let their Pokemon go, to liberate Pokemon, as it were. But they don't realize how hypocritical they're being in the beginning, that they're using Pokemon to do this. And, you could argue that the main people, that's the real mastermind behind this whole team, is evil, no doubt about it. Everyone else that you meet that you think is in charge of this stuff and who do you think is doing all these wrong things, like stealing Pokemon, which they do on two occasions, and stealing other things, they're really not evil. And actually, throughout the game, they start to question if what they're doing is actually the right thing, because they're all, gaining, their own experiences through this, and they're all growing. And in the end, it comes down to a conflict of, do Pokemon belong with trainers, or do Pokemon belong free? And I think you all know how this ends. Another cool thing about the story is gym leaders are actually involved. They have a purpose other than just sitting in their gym. Half the time they're not in the gym. They're off, fighting Team Plasma or trying to do this, or this. They actually have a purpose now. Even the champion, who you don't fight the first time around, is exploring the region. That's nice. And I think with everything said, even when you finish the main story, which takes about 20 hours, there's more for you to do, extra stuff to do. You're not done with the story. And I gotta say, it's a much more mature tone, a much more, really making you think about stuff and rethinking how things happen. It's a good story, and in fact, it's my 3rd favorite. It's like the 1st and 2nd generation, 5th generation story. 3rd and 4th, I don't even remember. I don't even care. So in terms of the story, Pokemon White feels like a Pokemon game, and it's a nice change of pace. So now let's talk about the gameplay. There's tons of stuff to talk about this. They've introduced seasons. So not only do we have a clock system, day and night system, seasons have been implemented. And that changes most of the color palettes of towns and stuff, but some other areas get snow, where you can get to other areas with big piles of snow, and some areas actually freeze over, but not a lot. And some Pokemon change based on seasons, but they barely implement that, and I wish they would have done more with that. The problem with the seasons, though, is how long it takes for a season to change. Now, in real life, seasons are about 3-4 months long, whereas in Pokemon, it's 1 month long. So right now in April, it's winter. Last month, it was autumn. So, so on and so forth. What I would have liked to have seen, actually, is I really wish that they would have made it in like 1 week, 2 weeks, and then the season changes. Because I'm not going to play it for months on end to get all the seasons. So I think I really got skipped on that. Other gameplay thing is, we have 156 new Pokemon, and that's the only Pokemon you can use. The only Pokemon you will see, only Pokemon you can use until you beat the main story and unlock the national Pokedex. At which point, some areas of the region you couldn't go to before, become available, and you fight, older generation of Pokemon. So that was a bothersome, issue with me. But after playing it, the game grows on you, and you get used to it. Now, they've changed a lot of stuff. Experience system is different. Weak Pokemon, if you defeat strong Pokemon, you gain more experience, and vice versa. They've introduced a completely moving around Pokemon. So Pokemon are completely in motion in battle. The angles change with attacks, and if you just let it sit. However, the animations slow the battle down so much, I had to turn it off. You now have, when you're walking into buildings, you zoom up into them, slows things down. I didn't like that, but it's okay, I guess, if they wanted to go for that. Pokemon Centers are bigger. They now have Pokemarts inside of them. Not to mention, you don't have to go to a certain city to buy a certain item. Every time you get a new gym badge, all of the Pokemarts update with, more items. That was cool. You now have different types of random encounters. So there's the tall grass, normal encounter, darker grass, which usually gives you either a random encounter or a double random encounter. And you have shaking grass, dust clouds, and ripples on water, which usually is some type of rarer Pokemon, or maybe an item in a cave or something like that. So that's interesting. They also give you the option of having up to 25 items registered, but, who the hell cares? I only end up using 3. You can't deposit items anymore, because you can hold infinite amount of items, so you do have to do a lot of inventory management. TMs are reusable. HMs have been, cut down a few of them, but we still have Cut, Fly, Surf, Strength, Dive, Waterfall. But you pretty much don't need them for the majority of the storyline. You don't really need them to progress. You have the option of using them now because they're a little bit better in battle, but you don't need a Pokemon specifically dedicated to using HMs. Other gameplay features would have to be the different types of battles. We now have triple and rotation battles. Both use 3 Pokemon from each team. Triple doesn't really work very well because left Pokemon can attack left and center, right and center I think can attack all 3. So if you have Pokemon here and here on left and right on the opposite sides, you can't hit each other. And it's a real hassle when one of them dies or faints and you have to replace them. It was difficult. Rotation is a little bit different. Again, 3 Pokemon, you can only attack, I think, the one in front, and you have the option of rotating the ones that are in front. And you also get to attack the same round you rotate. So I think that's cool, but I couldn't figure out how to rotate. So that's irritating. But there's pretty much none of them. You had to basically go out and find those type of battles. Other gameplay stuff, not much, other than you get the choice of which Elite Four members to fight and in what order. That's nice, I like that. There's not a lot of mini-games, not that I can really think of. Nothing that really stands out in my mind. And all the other stuff is pretty much just tacked on miscellaneous things. Yeah. So let's talk about the miscellaneous stuff real briefly. There's these C gear that you get. It's like communications gear or something like that, and it basically allows you to communicate with other DSs, infrared, Wi-Fi, whatever. I never used it after I got it. Oh, and it reminds me, it just popped in my head. When you save your game, and this is a nice gameplay difference, a little bar will show up to show you how far along it is in the progress. I really like that. But I would really like to know why we can't have more than one save. By the 5th generation of these games on the DS, we should have more than one save. That's a hint, Nintendo. Give us more than one save option. Other miscellaneous stuff, you have the option of transferring Pokemon from 4th generations to this, if you can't find them in the game, which they really should have just put all 649 Pokemon in this. Another thing is the ability to relocate certain event Pokemon from a 4th gen game to this one, which you have to do for Zorua and Zoroark. That's really annoying. But I managed to get them, and it's a pain in the ass that you have to do that. But you can't transfer anything back, and you can't transfer Pokemon with HMs that aren't in this game, TMs that aren't in this game, or items that they're holding. And even when you send Pokemon over here to catch, you can't send them back, and that really sucks. The other stuff is like the Dream World stuff, which is some online thing that isn't even up yet, and I'm not even going to bother dealing with that. But yeah, I think that for the most part, that's Pokemon White. It was supposed to change or reimagine the series, kind of bring it back to its roots, and in some ways I think it did, considering that this is definitely going to leave a lasting impression in my mind, much more so than the 3rd and 4th generations ever did. But ultimately, I think that Nintendo and Game Freak are really losing their touch with what a Pokemon game really is. They're caring too much about the graphical presentation. They care too much about trying to implement new ways of battling, new things with, using new technology with the DS and all that. And I think the Pokemon designs are really lacking. Most of them are really bad, but they grow on you. Some of them are really cool, and I like those, but the names are horrible, and basically the evolutionary paths and some of the Pokemon's designs are blatant rip-offs of the 1st generation. So I think they've really run out of ideas, and I think that although I really liked Pokemon White, and it's a pretty good game, it's a solid RPG, I think that this should be the end of the Pokemon series. But if they were to continue, they need to spend many years just trying to reimagine everything, or go back to the way it was with the 1st and 2nd gens, and actually spend a lot of time working on Pokemon, and not worrying so much about what the common trend is in gaming and handhelds nowadays. So overall, if you're a fan of the Pokemon series, this is a solid RPG, even though in the spirit of Pokemon may be getting a bit stale and stagnant. Good game. If you like the more ancient kind of looking thing, or certain exclusives, get Pokemon White. If you like the more futuristic stuff, get Pokemon Black. Or if you want to try both, get both. It's up to you. I think it's worth a try. So I'm going to give Pokemon White for the DS an 8 out of 10. And I could keep going, but I think I've said enough. See you guys next time.